that was how Saturday went. Sunday comes and we're playing against this team. Now, the way like most tennis, none of their numbers make sense. And so their rankings go like, it's just really
True.
yeah, they decide to do their own thing. And so like their rankings go like, if you're a beginner, meaning like you can get it over the net and like, you can somewhat hit the ball over, you don't really have any consistency, like you're rated at 2.5. If you're
Sorry, it's so arbitrary.
I'm like, what's happening? How and where and why? So yeah, like I said,
2.5.
you're 2.5.
Obviously.
Yeah, clearly you're a 2.5. All right, and like they're like, you can serve it in the box. All right, so then 3.0 is like you can serve it. You're a little bit more consistent. 3.5, you're like, all right, like you're kind of starting to get there. You probably got a few other serves. And then it goes to 4.0 and then 4.5. And I think 5.0 was like you're like Division 1 player. And then like 6.0 was like the pros. So I'm like, all right, cool. So we are technically like ranked as 2.5 players, but
Ouch. I thought you were going to say like 4. I was not prepared for that. I mean, that giant 1.5 difference. Oh.
it's a really big jump though. It's wild how much better. Yeah,
Right.
it's huge.
Yeah.
And so like officially ranked that, but like we played against other ones who are that ranked and we're just like, all right, we're beating the shit out of them. So whenever you're getting ready to cross over to the next one, like there's like even ranges within the levels, like beginner 2.5 versus you about to cross over 2.5. People will look at you like, who the hell, why are you here? And so anyway, so we're still kind of ranked that. So we see these two people we're playing on Sunday and they're 3.5 and 3.0. The guy is 3.5 and the girl is 3.0. And I was like, what the hell are they playing against us for? I don't want to do that. Like, so I was like, all right, I'm feeling a little bit more confident about myself though. Cause I'm just like, let me tell you something that I do know. Like I probably serve close to like a 3.5 or a 4.0.
Wow.
Like as far as like, I'm not putting a lot of power into it, but I think just naturally because I'm strong, my motion, it just comes fast. So I kind of so like one of the things that me and my partner were talking about is like finding a way to stay focused throughout the entire game. Sometimes we'll start winning or something will happen and we just get unfocused and then we're just going to lollygag it around. So we came in there focused. I was like, yo, 3.5. All right, let's see what the freak we got. And so we come in there and we like jump up and beat them. And we're like winning. We were like won 3 straight games on them right away. And I was like, well, what the fuck just happened there? Then it was coming to be my serve. And I'm not gonna lie to you, like I served it to the guy who is like just a big ranking according to his thing, bigger than me, and he couldn't do anything with it. Like he could barely, like we were just, like it was just a dominant performance. And I served it against the girl and she kind of like somewhat yelped. And I was like, yo, and I was like, yo, are you okay? And she was just like, yeah. And I was like, oh, it just came that fast. She couldn't react to it.
Wow.
And I was like, and it was so cool because like usually when people serve it like that, they usually get it in like once every like 15 times. So you can play. So it's just like, yeah, this is just a lucky time this time. But with me, that ain't it. Like I'm actually consistent now and I got a few different ones I can throw at you. And I'm training now to where I'm like actually aiming them. Like, so when I serve it, like if you're lined up all the way to like the right, I'll serve it to the left and I can throw it.
Wow.
So I'm like really practicing that a lot. So we end up beating them. They didn't win a single game against us that first set. And here's where my physical really came in at, where it was starting to help me out mentally. Within that, by that third game, me and my partner started noticing those other two started fussing with each other.
Oh boy.
And here is where I normally start to take something off. And make sure they're okay. Oh, this is my fault. And I all of a sudden start playing a little bit more. And I realize what I do is I start to play more casually. I'll start to have just casual conversation, which makes me not take things more serious, which is just a way to which I start to sabotage myself. And I was like, okay, I don't want to do that this time. This is something me and my partner know we do all the time we do all the time. And so like throughout the whole entire time, I was just like listening to them fuss, and I was like, okay, that ain't nothing to do with me. Like, whatever. So I to notice, but it was really hard to like stick in that. And one of the things I had to do was like, I could not talk even barely to my partner so that I wouldn't start to make things more casual. So it would take me out of the moment and make me not focus as hard. So one of the things I all of a sudden started like finding myself starting to picture in my head as I'm playing is I just started picturing Kobe Bryant and LeBron James. That's all I kept inside of my head. And for a little bit, I was like, why the hell does that keep popping up? And I started thinking, and I started saying this to myself, Ryan, it's okay to be dominant. Wow. It's okay to dominate. It's okay to be great.
Wow.
You've worked really hard. It's okay to be good. And this is how it shows. It's okay. I don't have to dumb this down. And I had to keep repeating that to myself over and over and over and over, because if not, my serves would have came out. I wouldn't have been doing these different things. I mean, I was just looking like I play, so I know I'm athletic too. So they were trying to hit it a few certain ways. I've just been working really hard. I'm just like, nothing you really throw at me is going to be super overwhelming. My coach has really been teaching me the fundamentals. And one of the things I've really was working on was when I get kind of overwhelmed, not using my athleticism and instead like using my technique to make sure I kind of keep it together. And I was doing it the whole entire time. There were a few times they hit a few balls and they were just like shocked that I could run and get it. And I was like, yep. And I can aim it where I want to hit the ball too. Like I'm not your regular person. And I had to keep repeating this to myself. It's okay to be dominant. It's okay to dominate. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. And I was talking to a friend of mine about this afterwards, and it was kind of like, wow. So I kind of wrote this down. And I was telling her, I don't think I had ever realized myself saying this. And I ended up getting to this point where I was just like, I'm so used to being the underdog, and I actually fight better being the underdog. I don't know what it's like. I told her, this is exactly what I quoted. I wrote it down as soon as I said it. I don't know how to fight with my head above water. I don't know how to motivate myself when I'm good and not drowning.
Damn.
Yo.
Wow. Wow.
So that was like something that really came out of that on Sunday. Is just like, okay, I'm starting to feel and get better. I know how to fight as the underdog. How do I fight when I'm starting to feel, when I'm actually good and feeling better? So that was like a huge, huge thing for me physically this week, which is don't start sabotaging myself. It's okay to be great. It's okay to dominate. And I don't have to hide my light anymore, because that's what I've been doing since I was a kid. I know where it came from so much. I used to do it. Someone asked me, they were like, I mean, Ryan, like, did you do it in football? Yes, all the time. I was telling them, yo, if I saw somebody that I knew was shorter than me or less athletic, I didn't want them to feel bad. So I'm not going to go super hard, because I want you to feel like you can still do this. Something that comes from childhood, how I had to kind of help my brother out with that stuff. My parents kind of put that on me. So it was just an interesting thing of, I'm not going to do that this time. And then we beat the shit out of him again. And so I was just like, ooh, this is uncomfortable. This is uncomfortable. So yeah, that was my physical this week.
Wow. I mean, it's a powerful message. It's almost like you've moved from surviving to thriving. And so just like a shift of energy, and what do you do? And it's almost like when you start thriving, it's like, uh-oh, this doesn't feel right. Let me go back to surviving. Yep. That felt a lot more normal. And so it's cool that you took that moment of awareness to be like, no, this is a good place. It's good to be swimming and not drowning. It's good to be floating even sometimes above the water. Like, but it's intense if you aren't used to that. It really is.
It's how I've motivated myself to make sure that, you know, it's how I've motivated myself. So I was very just kind of excited to be able to, you know what I'm saying, find a way to get myself to be able to, oh God, I'm not answering that. And so I was excited to be able to find a way to get myself motivated to be able to move forward with that and like not be ashamed of that. So, yeah.
And how long have you been working with that coach? I mean, I've seen your whole tennis journey. What, like 4 years almost?
2.
But like since you and I started even playing.
2.
Okay, damn it. No, that was definitely at least 3 years ago that you and I were out on that tennis court. It was 2 falls ago. Okay. Well, you've been working really diligently for 2 years, so diligently that I thought it was 4 years. Okay. But I mean, you really, even if it was just 2 years, no, even since it was just 2 years, you've been putting in the dedication, you've been working with the coach, you've been playing with your team, you've been doing all of those things, and to have it culminate, it's a really powerful moment. To
see it, and like the amount of times I wanted to quit and just be like, oh, it's something, it just started clicking. And I want to show, that's why I wanted to play against somebody else. And like, I was just like, oh, so this is what it's like when I actually have some level of control again in my life. So what do I do with that? Like, before I was just always on defense when playing, like never really knowing. I'm like, oh, like I'm a little bbit more in it. So I was very kind of excited about that. So yeah, just what a day.
That's cool.
It was a cool day.
It's new.
It's new. Loved it.